Alright, so here we have the Xteink X3, a mini e-reader I've been using for the past few months that I absolutely adore. I actually think it's the best buy out of their entire range at the moment. But what does X3 stand for? What is this device? Well, if we look at their website, direct from the source, we have so many different models. We've got the X4, which I've got here, which is the original model. It's got no backlight, it's got buttons, and a cheap price. But it also looks like this one's no longer even available anymore. Then, more recently, we've got the X4 Pro release, which is this, but more expensive, with a backlight, touchscreen, and physical buttons. There's also the S4, which is supposed to be the same as the X4 Pro, but running on Android. Though, for now, that one's only available in China, with no international release confirmed. But the X3, this one right here, it's the middle child. It's got no backlight, it's got no touchscreen, it's the smallest one, and it does one thing really, really well. It reads books. But that was a lot, very, very quickly. So let's break down why it's the best buy right now. So, quick story. I bought my X4 for around $50 before the XTEink hype. It was a great deal. I bought it on the grey market, and I was really happy. Shortly after, they released the X3. It was a little bit more expensive, around 70 Australian dollars when it came out. Most people figured that the X3 wasn't worth buying because it was just the X4, slightly smaller, for a higher price, and they both do the same thing, read books. But if we look at this one today, this X4 is no longer even available on their website. And even if you could have got it, it's currently $99, so it's doubled in price and it's no longer available. And that X4 Pro we were talking about before is currently 142 Australian dollars on their website. The S4 is yet to be released. So now the X3 is the cheapest one available direct from the manufacturer, and yes, you can get cheaper ones imported, but do your own research because there is big differences there in terms of flashing firmware and all sorts of things. The ones grey market can be locked down. But to be fair, if you can still find an X4 for really cheap online, this is probably the best value buy at the moment. The only thing you're giving up is a smaller size, but you do gain a bigger screen, and this one has Type-C, which all the new ones are dropping. That X4 Pro is more expensive for a simple light and a touchscreen. From what I can see, XTEink is trying to push their customers from these cheap devices up to more expensive devices, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I thought this was a great buy when I bought it for 40, 50 bucks, but with the build quality, I wouldn't pay 100 for it. The X3, on the other hand, is a different story. This X3 is an incredible device, and I'd still buy it again in a heartbeat. The first thing you'll notice about this device is it's tiny. The size is truly incredible, and it's so light. It's lighter than the X4, it's smaller than the X4, which is unbelievable already. It's got a 3.7-inch screen, weighs just 58 grams, and it measures in at 5.1 millimeters thick, or thin, I should say. The build quality, although it's still made of plastic, is really, really good. Compared to my original X4, which I've shown many times, the buttons fell off. This one feels really like a finished device. It doesn't feel early. The buttons are so stable compared to the ones I had. I'm not stressed about it breaking, but I do still carry it in a case because I don't want it to break, or alternatively, in my journal, just so it has that extra bit of protection. When it comes to the device itself, you've got page turn buttons on the side, one on either side of the device. You've also got page turn buttons on the front of the device to go back and forward. Up top, we've got a power button, a micro SD card, and I don't even know what this other button is, to be honest. I've never even touched it. But the button's really good. To be fair, I only ever use this one because it's perfect for my hands. The screen is really, really good. Feels like the text is printed on the display. Doesn't feel like it's sitting under the display like it does with a few older Kindles that I've had. This is genuinely a really, really nice device, but it does have its downside. Unlike the X4 here, which had a really, really convenient USB Type-C charger, the X3 here only charges by this magnetic pogo pin thing on the back, which I thought wouldn't be an issue. I figured I normally charge this thing at home anyway, or at least that's what I did with my X4. I've never had an issue where I needed to charge it on the go, but there was a bit of an incident, a bit of a story. It was just before bed, and the next day I was planning to go to the local library after work with my wife to finish reading The Long Walk. So what I did is I transferred the book onto my e-reader to update the progress. I made sure it was charged, but when I transferred the book onto my device, I left it connected via cable wireless. So what this meant was the device actually drained itself of battery overnight. And it still said 96% because the screen never updated. I packed it in my bag in the morning. I went to work, and when I finished, I went to the library. I was sitting there ready to finish the book. I pressed the next page button and it adjusted directly to 4%. I read about 3 pages and the device died, which wouldn't normally be an issue, but I can only charge it via the pogo pins, and I didn't have these on me. The charger that I had was at home. If it was Type-C, I could have finished it. My book was on loan at the library, so I couldn't even finish reading it there. I had to switch books and read something different, which was fine, but not what I planned to do. Type-C would have resolved that entire issue. Yes, you can buy adapters that go Type-C to pogo pin to solve this, but it's just annoying. Like, I know there's workarounds. Yes, I'm happy to live with it, but for a device that is otherwise a joy to use, it's something that I'm happy to live with. For me, this is perfect. It's small, easy to carry everywhere, whether it's on the back of your phone, whether it's in my little journal here, or whether it's just simply in my pocket inside this magnetic case. What I'm going to say is that the MagSafe connection makes this device so much more versatile in my eyes. You can stick this thing genuinely anywhere you want. As long as you've got one of those little MagSafe rings that you can stick somewhere, you can put it anywhere. You can be very creative with how you use it. The other thing is, I know it doesn't have a touchscreen, I know it doesn't have a light, but it does its core job really well. Using this is an absolute delight. The page turn buttons work really well. I've never had any issues with delays or anything like that at all. It just works as intended to read books. Out of the box, you can read EPUBs and use it just fine, but I ended up flashing cross-ink onto it for reading stats, a clean and fast experience, and cloud library syncing. But genuinely, you can use this thing straight out of the box, load an EPUB onto it, and you're good to go. I have had a lot of feedback on these devices though, essentially saying, why not just read on your phone? Why do you need a guaranteed device to read on? Well, you can read on your phone, but if you're anything like me, you'll get distracted by a notification or a friend sending you an Instagram reel, which quickly turns into a 17-hour scroll session. Both these devices have no storefront, no notifications, no distractions. It's easy on your eyes, and you only get out of it what you put into it. I've always wanted to read articles and learn more, along with simply reading more fiction. I load this up with only those things, and that's all I can consume. I don't really have another choice, because there's nothing else on it. If we compare it to the X4 or the X4 Pro, the device is either the same price as, or cheaper than, those two, based on the current official pricing. Yes, it's got a pogo pin rather than Type-C compared to the original X4, but the X4 Pro also has that annoying pogo pin charger. Yes, it's smaller, which is great if you read in portrait mode like I do, or you want to put it on the back of your phone, but if you do read in landscape mode, it's actually slightly smaller, like almost too small compared to the X3. It doesn't impact me though, because as mentioned, I read in vertical mode the whole time, it feels the same. I prefer the button layout on the X3. With the dedicated power button on the top, I don't accidentally turn it off when I'm trying to read when I'm lying down. It also has a gyroscope which you can shake to turn pages, but I never used that. I turned it off pretty quick because it was accidentally changing the page when I didn't want it to. Mini e-readers are great. This one is great for me, does exactly what I need, and if you want to pay more for a light, go ahead. But don't get lost in the stats and features, because at the end of the day, all this thing needs to do is read a book, display text really well, and just get you reading. The X3 does that for me, so I'd recommend the X3 at the moment.